Do you now, or have you ever, believed that the world as we know it is coming to an end? If so, you're one of millions of humans, over millennia, who've been drawn to apocalypticism. Apocalypticism is the belief that our world is on the brink of a dramatic, transformative end. An incredible array of views exist as to exactly what kind of end that will be. End times beliefs cover a worldview that has fascinated and unsettled people for thousands of years, appearing in myths, religious texts, and even modern pop culture. At its core, apocalypticism is about anticipating a moment when everything we take for granted changes. When the familiar world is swept away, creating a vacuum that will be filled by something entirely new. It's not just about destruction, but about a profound change in the nature of existence itself. For many, the end is not simply an ending, but a necessary step toward renewal, hope, and the possibility of a better world. This duality, fear and hope, makes apocalyptic thinking both powerful and enduring, and, in its own way, a form of evolutionary theory. This belief is usually urgent. Many expect the end within their own lifetimes. That sense of immediacy can inspire action, anxiety, or even a sense of purpose, as people prepare for what they believe is coming soon. Thus, paradoxically, belief in the end can generate motivation. Apocalypticism is a branch of eschatology, the study of humanity's ultimate fate. Scholars have traced these ideas through the ancient manuscripts, oral traditions, and sacred scriptures of numerous societies, revealing how deeply they are woven into mankind's collective story. Across cultures and religions, common themes emerge: secret knowledge revealed, hidden truths coming to light, and the promise that those who understand will be prepared for what's to come. In some eras, this has fueled exclusivity. In others, it has driven spreading the word. A final dramatic cosmic battle between good and evil is often at the heart of these stories, with divine intervention tipping the scales. This struggle is seen as the ultimate test, where the fate of the world hangs in the balance. After this showdown, a final judgment separates the righteous from the wicked, promising salvation or punishment. This moment of reckoning is both feared and longed for, as it offers the hope of justice and the end of all suffering. These ideas remain alive today, shaping the worldviews of millions. They influence how communities interpret current events, respond to crises, and imagine the future. Apocalyptic patterns appear in Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and beyond. Each tradition has its own vision of the end, but all share the sense that history is moving toward a climactic moment. They influence how people see their place in the world and the future of humanity. Even modern secular fears, climate change, nuclear war, and the rise of artificial intelligence, mirror these ancient patterns, echoing the same warnings and hopes for ultimate renewal. Today we see new forms of apocalyptic thinking in movies, news headlines, and even scientific predictions. The threats may have changed, but the overall structure of warning, crisis, and hope for renewal remains the same. And warnings, crises, then hopes for renewal, are themselves cycles which repeat, shaping how humans respond to uncertainty and imagine what will come next. The idea of a world-ending event is deeply embedded in our imagination, whether religious or scientific. It challenges us to confront our fears, but also to dream of new beginnings. Understanding apocalypticism helps us grasp why end-times thinking persists across time and culture, and why it continues to shape our hopes, fears, and expectations of the future. The roots of apocalyptic thought reach back to Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest monotheistic religions. Zoroastrians envision a cosmic struggle between good and evil, culminating in a final renovation of the universe. A messianic figure, the Saoshyant, will lead the resurrection and final judgment, purifying humanity. The righteous will then be rewarded, the evil destroyed, and a perfect world will emerge. These primordial ideas profoundly influenced Judaism, then Christianity, then Islam. Early Jewish apocalyptic writings such as the Book of Daniel predicted divine intervention and justice in the midst of future times of oppression. Vivid imagery and symbolism were used to offer hope to suffering communities, assuring them that their struggles fitted within a larger divine plan, one with a grand resolution. The legacy of these beliefs continues to shape their end-times thinking even today. Christianity's apocalyptic tradition is rooted in the belief that history is moving toward a dramatic climax, the second coming of Jesus Christ, and the final judgment of all humanity. For centuries, Christians have looked to these prophecies for hope, warning, and guidance, shaping their understanding of good, evil, and the ultimate destiny of the world. The Book of Revelation, the Bible's most mysterious and symbolic text, describes a time of chaos and upheaval. It tells of the rise of the Antichrist, a powerful deceiver, and a period of tribulation marked by suffering, war, and natural disasters. These vivid images have inspired countless interpretations and fueled both fear and fascination throughout Christian history. Some Christians believe in the rapture, a sudden miraculous event in which all true believers will be evacuated by God shortly before a series of terrible, fated catastrophes strike the earth. This idea, popularized in recent centuries, envisions a dramatic separation between the faithful and those left behind, triggering both hope and anxiety about just who will be saved. According to this doctrine, after the defeat of evil forces, Christ's millennial reign will usher in 1,000 years of peace and justice. This golden age is said to be followed by a final judgment, where every soul shall be called to account for their actions and choices. The righteous are fated to be welcomed into a new heaven and new earth, a place where suffering, pain, and death are no more. This vision of ultimate renewal offers comfort and hope to believers, promising a future of joy and restoration. Yet, not all Christians interpret these dramatic events literally. Many see the apocalyptic prophecies as symbolic, representing spiritual truths or events that have already unfolded in history. For them, the end times are less about future catastrophe and more about ongoing personal and social transformation. Interpretations like preterism and realized eschatology suggest that the kingdom of God is not merely a distant hope, but a present reality, unfolding wherever genuine justice, compassion, and renewal are found in the world today. These diverse perspectives reflect Christianity's ongoing struggle to understand the mysteries and often impenetrable symbology of the end-of-days scriptures, and to discern what these ancient prophecies really mean for believers, both now and in the future. Apocalyptic themes continue to inspire hope, caution, and passionate debate among Christians of many denominations, reminding them that the story of faith is always unfolding and inspiring within them the idea that renewal is possible even in the darkest times. Throughout history, apocalyptic fervor has led groups to predict specific dates for the world's end. The Millerite movement in 19th century America famously awaited Christ's return in 1843 and then 1844, only to face the Great Disappointment. Despite failed prophecies, new denominations like the Seventh-day Adventists emerged, reinterpreting the precise meaning of these dates. Jehovah's Witnesses also made date-specific predictions, adapting their beliefs after each failed prophecy. This pattern, prediction, disappointment, reinterpretation, allows apocalyptic groups to persist. The ability to adapt keeps the core belief alive, even when evidence contradicts it. These movements show how powerful and resilient apocalyptic expectations can be. That time-honored cycle of hope, failure, and renewal continues to shape religious communities in many parts of the world. In Islam, belief in the Day of Resurrection, Yawm al-Qiyamah, remains central. The Quran and Hadith describe signs leading up to this day, divided into minor and major events. Minor signs include moral decay and conflict, serving as reminders of life's impermanence. Major signs feature dramatic events: the rise of the Dajjal, Antichrist, the return of Jesus, who they call Isa, and a final massive battle known as the Malhama al-Kubra. After these things come to pass, the universe will be destroyed, and everyone who has ever lived shall be resurrected for judgment. The righteous will then enter paradise, while naturally the wicked will face punishment. Islamic end times beliefs share certain major themes with Christianity and Judaism, but also have unique features, including specific detailed signs that the end is near. These signs help believers interpret world events as part of a divine timeline. The apocalyptic vision provides order, meaning, and once again, hope amid uncertainty. Norse mythology's Ragnarok is a dramatic vision of cosmic destruction and rebirth, a tale that has echoed through the centuries in the sagas of the North. It is a story that captures the imagination with its scale and intensity, painting a picture of the end of all things and the hope that follows. Ragnarok foretells a cataclysmic battle between gods and giants, a clash so fierce that even the mightiest deities, Odin, Thor, Freyr, fall in combat. The world is consumed by fire and flood as chaos reigns and the old order collapses. The sky is torn apart, and the earth trembles beneath the weight of destiny. Nature itself turns against creation. An endless winter blankets the land, earthquakes shatter mountains, and the sun and moon are swallowed by monstrous wolves, plunging the world into darkness and despair. Yet, as usual, Ragnarok is not the end of the story. After the storm and devastation, the world is reborn, green, fresh, and full of promise. New life emerges from the ashes, and the cycle of existence begins anew. Survivors, both gods and humans, step forward into this renewed world. They carry with them the memory of what was lost, but also the hope of what can be rebuilt. The earth is repopulated, and a new age dawns. This cyclical pattern of destruction and renewal is at the heart of Norse myth, setting it apart from the linear apocalypses found in Abrahamic traditions. In Norse belief, endings are never truly final. They are always the seeds of new beginnings. Even the gods themselves are not immune to fate. Their struggles and losses reflect a worldview that embraces impermanence, resilience, and the acceptance that change is inevitable. Ragnarok offers both a warning and a promise, a reminder that every ending carries within it the possibility of a new beginning, and that hope can rise from even the darkest times. The myth endures as a powerful story of revival after catastrophe, inspiring generations to find strength in adversity and to believe in rebirth. It reminds us that even in the midst of destruction, there is always the seed of renewal, waiting to grow and flourish once more. A notably different view is the one found in Buddhism, which offers its adherents a cyclical view of time, without the threat of a single apocalyptic end. To Buddhists, the universe endlessly cycles through creation, decay, and rebirth, driven by collective karma, not divine judgment. Decline and destruction are seen as natural phases, not final catastrophes. Hence, the philosophy's focus is on escaping the cycle of suffering, samsara, through attaining enlightenment, not on preparing for doomsday or qualifying for rapture. The coming of the future Buddha, Maitreya, signals renewal, not apocalypse. Each golden age eventually fades, and the cycle simply continues, emulating seasons and galactic patterns. Spiritual urgency in Buddhism is therefore about seizing the opportunity for liberation now. The fate of the world is thus secondary to the individual's path to nirvana. This worldview fosters both resilience and a focus on personal transformation. Apocalyptic thinking isn't just religious, it thrives in secular and New Age movements too. The 2012 phenomenon predicted a world-changing event based on the Mayan calendar, sparking global anxiety and hope, and spawning several Hollywood movies. Predictions ranged from planetary collisions to spiritual awakenings, but scholars of Mayan lore proved that the calendar's end of the 13th Baktun in 2012 was actually just a cyclic era change. UFO religions blend science fiction with end-times beliefs, expecting salvation or transformation from extraterrestrials, a concept made famous by Arthur C. Clarke's 2001, A Space Odyssey. Some await rescue by aliens before Earth's destruction, a kind of rebooted rapture. Others anticipate an alien-human brotherhood utopian era, as in Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek Future. These modern myths, even with all the technology they involve, still basically just echo the apocalyptic template of the ancient religions: crisis, secret knowledge, and the hope of renewal. For those more comfortable with science than faith, they offer meaning and community in uncertain times, and demonstrate two things: that the adaptability of apocalyptic narratives ensures their survival in new forms, and that even in a scientific age, man's primal longing for transformation endures. Why do people cling to apocalyptic predictions even after repeated failures? Psychologists have documented pronounced indications of cognitive dissonance, the discomfort created by maintaining beliefs contradicted by reality among such individuals. Yet when their prophecies don't deliver, many believers appear to simply rationalize or reinterpret events rather than abandon or even just critically re-examine their faith. The classic 1956 study, When Prophecy Fails, showed how a UFO group doubled down after their doomsday didn't arrive and began seeking fresh converts as a new means of validation. Emotional and social investments make it hard to let go. Admitting error can be devastating. Reinterpreting prophecies or blaming miscalculations helps one cling to a beloved belief. This deep need for meaning and consistency often outweighs rational thought or evidence. Apocalyptic movements persist because they meet profound psychological and social needs. Despite having not yet arrived, that coming apocalypse remains a timeless, powerful story. Across cultures and eras, it has shaped how humans process chaos, hope, and renewal. End times narratives give meaning to suffering and offer the promise of ultimate justice. Hence, our apocalyptic visions help us make sense of the present, not just predict the future. They impose order on chaos and play a role in motivating higher ideals, whether the specifics are more spiritual and moral living, or preparing to accept alien brothers and sisters from the stars. Clearly, that old human story of Day's End in all its forms will remain a force in our collective imagination for as long as people dream, believe, hope, speculate, or fear. Which version of apocalypticism do you find particularly interesting and why? Please give us your views on end-time beliefs in the comments section. And don't forget to like and subscribe to help others find Life Class before it's too late.
Behind the potential threat of human-induced apocalypse lies the struggle between our cleverness and our lack of wisdom, a deep issue we explore back in episode 16.